Silay City was first settled in 1565 under the name Karabkob, which means rib cage in Hiligaynon. In early writings, the settlement was also referred to as Kalubkob, Karakol, and Karako. The last two variations mean snail or a spiral in Spanish. Silay is often referred to as the Parish of Negros due to its artist, cultural shows, and large collection of perfectly preserved heritage houses. More than 30 of these houses have been declared by the National Commission of the Philippines as part of Silay National Historical Landmark. The Pelina Heritage House belongs to one of the principal families of Silay City. It boasts to have 29 declared heritage houses. The Balay Negrins, also known as Victor Fernandez Gaston Ancestral House, is a museum in Silay City, Negros Occidental in the Philippines, showcasing the lifestyle of a late 19th century Negrin sugar baron. In the 1980s, Don Victor Fernandez Gaston, a sugar baron whose family revolutionized the sugar planting techniques in Negros, commissioned the construction of Balay Negrins for himself and his 12 children. Gaston House in 1901 was one of the largest homes on the island. Silay City is a third-class component city in the province of Negros Occidental. It has a sizable commercial and fishing port and is the site of New Bacolod Silay International Airport, which replaced the old Bacolod City Domestic Airport. Silay City celebrated its 50th charter anniversary. The quaint city of Silay is situated at the northern part of the sugarland, Negros Occidental. It got its name from the tree that grew up in the place where the maiden Silay was buried. Silay is the daughter of the village chieftain Bubog, who fought and died protecting their village from marauding bandits. It was the center of culture and arts in Negros during its golden years. European architecture is very evident in the carefully festooned houses and mansions in Silay. That is why it is often dubbed as the Paris of Negros. As proof that the people of Silay City have high regard and value to their past, more than 31 historical and ancestral homes, buildings, and other structures are being recognized in the city. Some of these structures are now converted into business establishments, while some were turned into museums that were made open to the public. The best places to visit Silay City's heritage zone are the Ramona Pelina Museum, is an ancestral home that was established in 1934. The artwork of two renowned artists such as Pablo Picasso and Francisco Goya, the writings and other works of Gato Rizal, and paintings of Felix Hidalgo and Juan Luna. Silay printmaking, the oldest workshop outside the Philippine capital, can be found here. Don Victor Fernandez Gaston Ancestral House, Balay Negrins, one of Silay City's largest ancestral houses, was built in 1898 to 1912 by a French named Yves Léopold Germain Gaston. Il Ideal Bakery is considered to be the oldest bake shop, started by Cesar Locsin in 1920s. Bernardino Holland Museum, completed in 1908, was the first owned by Don Bernardino and Doña Isabella Landuni, known as the Pink House, relics and remnants of old Negros. San Diego Fru Cathedral, this church is the center of Catholic faith of the Silaynon, originally built in 1925 by an Italian architect named Lucio Bernasconi. German Locsin Yunsun Ancestral House is one of the first staged in 1993 houses to offer overnight stay. Vicente Conlo Montelivano Heritage House, bahay na bato, packed which is possibly from late Spanish colonial Perigo to the early American period. Antonia de la Rama Locsin Ancestral House, the oldest ancestral house during Spanish colonial to the early American period, Bisayan Bahay na Bato. Jose B. Gamboa Ancestral House, the Oro Plata Mata House. Leandro del Rama Locsin Ancestral House, a new classical house, was built in 1925 by Italian architect Birasconi. Teodoro Murada Ancestral House, often called as the White House, owned by the family of Teodoro Murada. The house is a fusion of Spanish and American colonial architecture, and due to its cultural, architectural, and historical significance. Jose Cortiza Locsin Ancestral House, well-preserved house in Silay. It was built in Art Deco architecture during the 1930s and was owned by Jose Locsin, a Filipino doctor and politician. Lino Lupi Severino Ancestral House, first development store in Negros, Valdivia building, most commercial business in the city. Maria Ledesma Goles Ancestral House, a classical example of a townhouse. Angelo Araneta Ledesma House, Balay, Verdi. This heritage house was built in 1930s. It combines the American clapboard and colonial plantation style. Digna Lopez Consing Ancestral House is a two-story French-American heritage house owned by the Consing family. Jose Pitong Ledesma Ancestral House, built in 1917, a renowned Silaynan pianist, conductor, and philanthropist. Arsenio Lopez Hison Ancestral House, owned by Hison family, a story of Art Deco style. Old Silay Port, built in 1933 by the Italian architect Lucio Bernasconi. This port, with an approximate length of 1.7 km. One of the longest ports in Asia, Silay City is a perfect place to go for people who love a combination of history and traveling. Is an understatement. Silay City can surely satisfy someone's hunger for an amazing view, awesome food, rich culture, and remarkable experience. There are 16 barangays. Silay is a coastal component city in the province of Negros Occidental. It has Hospital Teresita Halandoni Hospital, Highway Silay Festival every 12th day of June, Pugad Viewing Deck. The Parish of Silay was established in 1776, and its first church was built of light materials, bamboo, cogon grass, and nipa palm during the time of Gobernador Silio Alijo Severino. There are lots of ancestral houses became famous because of its numerous ancestral houses. All of these are well preserved and livable. Silay is sometimes called as the Paris of Negros. Silay is a celebration that brings to life an old legend featuring Silay, the village princess, and several other characters. The festival name is the Silaynon Saitan, cheering others on to join in the celebration. Silay City's beautiful ancestral dating from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. It is now that specializes in the local history. It is one of the best heritage cities, continues to retain its charm and beauty. Silay City is a city that has rich, elegant, and colorful history. Their ancestral home was the biggest Spanish-influenced mansion built during the height of the Philippine industry's success. Silay City, a stroll to these historic houses, reveal history in progress. They are the saviors of our glorious past, having endured earthquakes, typhoons, and other catastrophes while still standing strong. These historical houses were constructed so that we may see how vibrant and lovely our history was, a better results from a well-preserved history.